name is Jerome Jennings, and I'm teaching drums and ensembles and doing some workshops and clinics at the Litchfield Jazz Camp 2024. I want everybody to know that what you just heard was just a bit of a kind of an exhibition in just the language of the swing tradition, the art form known as jazz music, coming through the experience of African Americans in this country. And I want you to know that it's a language just like speaking Spanish, Portuguese, French, whatever language you're speaking, Arabic, there is a culture connected and tied to it. What we play is a music that is connected, directly connected to the experience, the American experience, the African American experience initially. And as the music got out and became more accepted, other cultures brought their special brand of culture and the way of doing things to the music. I like to think of what the folks who are the progenitors of this music early in jazz. And when we're talking about the drum kit, people like Baby Dodds, people like later on Zutty Singleton. Then we go even later on, we get into Papa Joe Jones, we get into Big Sid Catlett and people like Art Blakey, Philly Joe Jones, and up to Victor Lewis, Ralph Peterson, Kendrick Scott, and the names just go on and on. Even guys like Marcus Gilmore. These people, we're coming out of a tradition, and we're coming out of something that is a groove music, right? I always used to hear people say, man, are you a groove drummer or are you a jazz drummer? Well, jazz has a groove. That groove it's a part of the African American journey to the United States, or Africans' journey to the United States. It just so happens we were dropped off, my ancestors was dropped off in America, while some people's ancestors were dropped off in Puerto Rico. Some people's ancestors were dropped off on an island called Jamaica. Some people's ancestors were dropped off in an island called South America. We happen to be dropped off here in the United States. And all of those bodies of land, all of the people who were brought to those bodies of land created grooves that come from where they were brought from, i.e. Africa. African Americans' brand of rhythms, it comes through and accompanies the music that will be known as swing in the 20s and 30s. This is the groove. Right? I like to say that the art of jazz drumming or the art of swing drumming, it is very unique to our experience because this instrument here was actually designed for more than one person to play. But due to our ability here in the United States to be able to patent, to be able to invent, and to be able to have the freedom of enterprise, folks began to invent apparatuses like hi-hat cymbal, hi-hat pedals, bass drum pedals, and folks were able to work on playing a multi-person instrument using only one person. So when we get into the beginnings of the music, it had a march tradition. When we talk about Philip Sousa, who was the pop star of the late 1800s, you have this thing happening. You have that. That was played by three people: a cymbal player, a snare drummer, a bass drum player. But what happened was when these instruments became, when this instrument became supplemented with a foot pedal for your a hi-hat, which was originally supposed, it emulates the cymbal player, and you have a bass drum pedal to emulate the bass player. Now you have the music is going to be accommodated by a drummer who's going to be able to play kind of like what we call two-beat grooves. So here we go, more like the New Orleans style. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. So that is called a shimmy beat. It goes with the shimmy dance, okay? We move forward in time. Let's get to, let's say, the 30s, late 20s, 30s. Well, somebody decided that they wanted to bring the time, smooth it out. And the world was changing. Things became faster. We're talking about a time where it wasn't as much, we're dealing with cities being built. So we're not talking about farmland more so. We're talking about folks moving to city life. So things naturally become faster, right? And after the second industrial revolution, now we have things that allow life to become faster. And the music accommodates that. A person named Joe Jones and others began to play the hi-hat to smooth out that rhythm. And now we have a bass player that's going to be playing in 4/4 as opposed to having a tuba player going So when we get a bass player playing in 4/4, let me bring my friend Ian Smith to play a little bass. So we're going to play on the blues. We're going to walk about right here. Let's do 2 choruses. 1, 2, 1, 2, there. Good. So people began to smooth out the rhythm to make it accommodate the band that this concept is known for was the great Count Basie in his rhythm section. And Joe Jones was in that rhythm section. Walter Page played bass, of course, Count Basie, and you had the great Freddie Green on guitar. Yeah, and what Joe Jones was known for was that flip. He invented that flip. When you hear so it gives the illusion that the time is kind of it's very lucid. It gives you the illusion that the time has flipped. Okay, so as we move forward, we move more into the bebop guys, or I should say the modernist movement. The time is moving up literally on the kit. We go from the bass drum to snare to hi-hat. Now we're moving up to what we call the ride cymbal. Now these were virtuosic musicians who could play anything. Some people call it independence, but they were able to play, I like to say polyrhythm, over between that cymbal beat they were able to play anything with their limbs, independent, well, in conjunction with each limb off the ride cymbal, right? So you would hear something like, I'm gonna play a head, anthropology, okay? Boop dee loo bop, boop be doo lee loo dee dop, be doo ba dee doo bop bop boop ba doo la, boop beep ba dee loo dop, doo loo be ba doo dop, boop be doo ba doo loo dee dop, be doo ba da doo beep bop boop ba doo lee doo be doo dop, be dee loo dop, be dee loo boop, be dee loo doo, beep 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 ba dee dee, boo dee lee dee, be doo ba doo dee doo dop, boop be doo dee loo dop, boop be dop, ba doo ba doo loo be doo doo dop, be doo ba da boop beep bop boop ba doo lee be doo dop, ba doo dee loo dop. Okay, virtuosic heads, virtuosic musicians playing. You always have to have an innovative drummer playing with innovative horn women and men. Okay, so if I was to play that melody on the drums. Okay, so if we were to swing that blues, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that is that conversation between the bass drum and the snare. This is something that the modernist drummers brought to us. People like Roy Haynes, Max Roach, Art Blakey, Roy Porter. But as the music continued to move and continued to become more influences came into it. And I always tell my young drummers and drummers in general, I share the advice that you should be able to play many different grooves and to be able to get into the spirit of many different grooves. Not just play them, but get into the spirit of them. Understand, if you're playing a bossa nova, you got to be thinking beach. You got to be thinking South America, sun, to your best ability. Do research on the space, the land. Where did the music come from? Why is it here? Why does it exist? Who are the people it came from? You have to do the same with swing music as well. You have to do the same with music that comes through the African American experience. You have to do it. So if we were to play this same groove over a bossa nova, or the same chord progression, I should say, over a bossa nova, Let's see how that would fare. 1, 2, 1, 2. So you got to feel that sensuousness, right? You got to get on that beach. You know? Let's go to another island. Let's talk about that one drop. Comes out of that Jamaican experience. Let's talk about that experience being able to play a reggae groove using the same progression. Try to get as authentic here as possible. One, two, 1, 2. Yeah, we get into that thing. Let's try it in the funky way. Let me set it up. When you come in, you come in. Okay, so we got into a little bit of a funky thing. So what I want the drummers to get out of this, and I've spoken extensively at the camp about this. When you play a groove, you have to do exactly that. You have to groove before you start to expound on the groove and play a bunch of stuff around it, which it's useful to the band. You have to always be in service of the band. What we do as rhythm section players, rhythm section being the bass, drums, guitar, piano, we have to lay a foundation or lay out the red carpet for people to play over, or people to play the melody over, people to solo over. And we have to do that in a very explicit way, not implied. So if you're playing, for instance, if you're playing a swing groove, you want to swing before you begin to open up. You want to lay it down. I'm talking to my younger musicians who are just getting acclimated to the beat of what the music is. before you start to open up. So let's get into that blues. In every chorus, I'm going to open up a little bit, but before that, I'm going to lay it down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So we opened up a little bit. Every chorus, I opened up. I didn't want to start with a bunch of stuff. We want to establish that groove and then open up. A bit. So I encourage all of the students here, I encourage you to explore the groove, laying the groove, all right? Get your hands together, get them strong. Sing melody, explore the groove, play the melodies on the drums so that you can have a wealth of information when it's time for you to take a solo, and it won't just be random stuff. It will be coming from a melodic concept, a melodic idea. We always want to be thinking about concept. So I want to thank Ian for coming and laying down some groove. And whatever you decide to play, make sure you do a deep dive not only into the music, not only into the records, know who the artists are, know where they come from, know the conditioning that brought about each music that you want to play, because they all come from a source, a place, and a social conditioning. And make sure that you, by God, you have a love of affection, appreciation for the people who this music, whatever music you're playing, comes from. Okay, that is very, very important. All right, especially if you're benefiting from it. Through learning life lessons, through getting a bit of monetary gain, we have to be together here, and I want you all to enjoy the process and take care of the music and take care of each other. All right, peace.